Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is October 28th. Today we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery, and you can see we've got this very showery, cool air mass over the region right now. This brought some thunderstorm activity yesterday. We have some thunderstorms still ongoing this morning. And if you look out across Pacific Ocean south of the Aleutian Islands, we have our next storm system. It's going to be racing across the Gulf of Alaska. It brings, again, some very cold air aloft across the region. We'll dive into those details today. Take a look at the extended forecast as always as we go through the video this morning. So I want to scroll back and forth here, and actually let's put this on. Looks like that dropped off, but we do have some thunderstorm activity this morning right there by Hoquiam. You can see we have a lightning strike still going on. We could have a few thunderstorms today, but I want to back up through the day yesterday, and if we put that into motion, there goes the frontal system that went through very early on Sunday morning, and then we dealt with the thunderstorm activity. It was pretty plentiful along a lot of the coastal areas. You can see lightning strikes towards ocean shores and Westport and Long Beach and Cape Disappointment. The Oregon coast got a couple rounds as well. We had some lightning coming in across the interior areas also, and some very heavy rain at times. We had a landslide up there on I-5 near Bellingham, no doubt from recent rain activity. So yeah, some very active weather, and we're going to continue that as we go on in through the week coming up here. And this is one of the shots I got here at Cape Disappointment yesterday. If you didn't see that, I left it on one of my posts here on the channel. But yeah, had a nice wave action out there, no doubt. Actually heard some thunder while these waves were crashing about also. And there's that landslide. Washington State Department of Transportation here. You can see how that kind of came across and hit the Jersey barrier there and kind of trapped this truck. So you can imagine that blocked some traffic for a while. This was me here in the yellow coat and our crew out there shooting videos yesterday. Had a lot of fun out there at Cape Disappointment. And there's me testing out the anemometer mount. This thing was a raging success. The best part of this is I have some pretty heavy duty RAM mounts here that I attached to the roof rack, and this thing is quite accurate. It did very well when we were testing the gusts out there, 59 miles per hour at Ocean Shores. So taking a look here now at Seattle yesterday, 57 degrees. That's the exact average high for this time of year, and we picked up some pretty good amounts of rain. We're up over an inch for Seattle over the last couple of days. 2.43 inches of rain. 4 is the average of for the month, and we got more precipitation coming as we go through the end of the month and on in towards Halloween. Check out some of the recent amounts as we went on through October 27th, the very early morning, on through this morning. And you can see some pretty good precipitation amounts out there, no doubt helping out some of that landslide activity towards Bellingham. Vancouver Island continuing to remain saturated in some big amounts elsewhere across the region as well. And I checked out this station here at Westport, and if we look here, you can see 1, 2, 3 separate thunderstorms here. So a very fun weather station. If you guys want one of these, click on that link down below to save 10% off. It does all kinds of stuff, including the wind that updates every few seconds. Great smartphone app. It's got a great widget with it as well. You don't even have to open it to see the temperature before you walk outside. It's got UV index as well. So again, if you want one of those, click on that link down below for 10% off. Spokane with the interesting weather graphics here on the National Weather Service page here. Continue to watch out here as we go through the Halloween period, but it looks like it's going to be cooler than normal here across the region, periods of rain. And this is looking at a wider view of the map here at the Pacific Northwest. We do have some winter weather advisories across some of the North Cascades, and that's going to be a recurring theme for Cascades all the way down through Washington into Oregon, British Columbia, some of the Rocky Mountains, as we get another very cold air mass aloft. It's going to usher in a very strong frontal system as we go through the day Wednesday. Now, taking a look here really quickly at what's coming up, I want to show you this next frontal system barreling in here. You can see the low pressure system out over the Gulf of Alaska. That's what's going to bring our cold air mass as we go on into the end of the week. A little bit of a reinforcing shot there. And then stay with me here. At the end of the video, we're going to go over some fantasy stuff on through the extended forecast. Now, taking a look at composite reflectivity, so the Doppler radar may look like here over the next 60 hours or so. Here we go on into the day today. You can see the shower activity should be waning, but you still could have the chance for some lightning strike activity today. Convergent zone activity as we go through tonight into early tomorrow morning. And then you see the next system out here, our next frontal system rolling in on the day Tuesday. It's going to hit Western BC, Vancouver Island first as we go through Tuesday night. Here we go on into very early Wednesday morning. Precipitation starts, and look at that cold front here marching towards the west coast, hitting Vancouver Island, the Washington coast. Going to kick up some wave action, some gusty winds as well. That's going to swoop through the area as we go through the day Wednesday. Look at all the cold air behind it. No doubt thunderstorm activity again as we go through the afternoon Wednesday and probably again Thursday. Mountain snows, very cold air aloft. Look at that frontal system all the way from British Columbia down towards California. Now, if we look at 180 meter wind speeds, correction, if we put this into motion, what I want to concentrate on is the next frontal system rolling in here. You can see it's going to pack some powerful winds with it, especially for the coastal areas from the northwest interior. Of course, higher terrain and whatnot. And then we continue on in through Wednesday, and that frontal system swoops across the area. So yeah, another strong frontal system, active weather in the fall season. If we go through average, our accumulated 10 meter max wind gusts, scrolling through, you see we could get some 50 mile per hour gusts for both the northwest interior and some of the coastal areas, and some blustery winds elsewhere as that frontal system passes through. This could easily come in a little bit higher for some of Seattle, but look at the Willamette Valley. You're looking at some gusts up towards 40 miles per hour as well. Now, wave action. So that's the bump we were dealing with yesterday. We get a little bit of a break as we go through Tuesday, and then another large area of waves is going to come rolling down the west coast of North America as we go through the end of the week. It's that time of the year when it's stormy out there. You cannot turn your back on the ocean. Be very careful if you're going out to the coastal areas, really anywhere up and down the west coast of North America when we've got these active patterns. Total snow, 10-to-1 ratio. So we are getting some of that snowfall as we go through the day today across the higher terrain. Then we get a little bit of a break as we go through Tuesday, but then Wednesday comes rolling around here. That cold air mass is going to come rushing in here by the time we go towards Thursday. And look at some of these heavy snowfalls here for some of the Cascades of Oregon, Washington, another reinforcing shot as we go through later this week. So you can see we're going to be piling it up, especially for the end of October on in through early November. And like I've been mentioning over the last few days, we're going to be melting a lot of that as we go through, the month of November, I doubt. It's, no doubt. But, some of that will stick around for the higher terrain. And it's always good for drought concerns because snow melts and soaks into the soil much better than if you just dump a bunch of rain that just kind of runs off pretty immediately into some of the streams, creeks, and rivers. So that's good news there. And if we look at total precipitation, just kind of scroll through here, and you can see the frontal system rolling through as we go through the day. Wednesday, lots of cold air aloft behind that, lots of showery activity running back into the Cascades against Seattle. See Seattle right about there, another maybe 3/4 of an inch here before the end of the month, and then you can see some pretty good amounts keeping us saturated here as we go on in through early November. Now, a quick look here at daily 2-meter max temperatures. Not much to tell you here other than we're going to be below average as we go on in through early in November. You can see some of the high temperatures across the higher terrain really cooling off for this time of year, and not much to talk about there. Highs just up into the 50s here. We're not looking at any warm periods, and it's a little too early in the season for lowland snowfall, so we're to keep things in the 50s, but it's going to feel quite raw out there. And if we look at daily 2-meter minimum temperatures, this is for tomorrow, Tuesday, October 29th. Put that into motion for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You guys get the picture here. Pretty cool across the higher terrain, and some chilly overnight lows east of the mountains. Now, 6 to 10 day, you can see the below normal temperatures across the west coast. There's a 6 to 10 day precipitation. I would take that with a grain of salt here, but we'll see. We'll watch this coming up, and I'll show you some maps here in a moment. 8 to 14 day, a little above average signal starting to show up here, and again, take that with a grain of salt. This was put out yesterday, and this below average signal here, not sure I agree with that. And you can see why. Artificial Intelligence European, kind of showing some of the Pacific Northwest. This is the 15-day precipitation anomaly, so the next 2 weeks. You can see some of it is above average. And we look at the GFS, you can kind of see quite a bit of areas above average. So that might switch up here in that Climate Prediction Center prediction coming up. Now, fantasy forecast. If you're watching to the end of the video, you'll be rewarded if you like fantasy forecast, because the European Artificial Intelligence, this is last night's run here on the left. This is yesterday afternoon's here on the right. So I scrolled way out to 276 hours out. Purely fantasy, purely entertainment, but I know a lot of you guys like these fantasy forecasts just as much as I do. So look at this monster that the European Artificial Intelligence has been throwing here between Haida Gwaii and the northern tip of Vancouver Island. This would just kick up some huge seas. There'd be huge amounts of cold air aloft, strong frontal systems, gusty winds, all kinds of stuff, because that is basically a bomb cyclone there that's developing. If we go through 6, 12, 18, 24 hours, clearly meets that bomb cyclone criteria. Very powerful storm. That would be quite dramatic on the satellite imagery there. So been watching that for a few days, and I'm going to show you something else here now, because this is yesterday late mornings versus yesterday early mornings. Same thing. 2 different model runs, has the same system out there. So we're going to find out just how good the artificial intelligence model is peering off into the future. You can see some of these solutions would bring damaging windstorms. But again, purely entertainment right now. However, it is interesting, as you can see, the last 4 model runs of the European Artificial Intelligence have shown that weather system there. So there's your reward. Fantasy, a windstorm, and storm lovers here along the west coast of North America. But again, keep that between us right now. Don't go parading that around. There's no confidence in that forecast right now, especially over 250 hours out. It is interesting, though, that it's showing it 4 times in a row. So anyway, yeah, one of my rare misses yesterday on being able to get a video out, but got a lot of footage out there, and I'll try to kick out a video on that. Some cool wave action out there on the coast, and I actually damaged and destroyed one of my cameras, so that kind of put a little bit of a sour touch on the weekend here, but maybe it'll be able to be fixed, and we'll see how that goes. But anyway, hope you guys are liking the videos. Otherwise, click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow and break down that system rolling in here you see out across the Aleutian Islands on the day tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.